Hello and welcome to session 6 of Free from the Yoke of 9. We have 3 more sessions after this one, and we are going to be taking up today at the court of the Arbiter. And maybe this time we'll figure out a name for the country. I don't know. That's maybe a little too wild for the kind of work that we're doing here today. In any case, this is Free from the Yoke, which is a Legacy Life Among the Ruins sort of standalone variant. And this is a generational game. This is a little less generational, but it's definitely has that sort of big level family, lower level characters, and the connection between those. And it's based on a Russian low fantasy mythology, all of those kinds of things, lots of Slavic elements in here. This is part of the Gauntlet Hangouts. The Gauntlet is an online gaming community / club. And we have a Patreon that supports a bunch of our podcasts as well as our calendar. And if you sign up at a certain level, we also have a magazine that comes out called Codex, which is pretty cool. And there's like a free issue of it that's almost 90 pages on our website right now, including a game called Once Again We Return, which is a hack of The Wicked and the Divine, which is quite good. It's a great issue, so you should pick that up. And also, we should also wish Patrick a happy birthday here. No mercy. Anyway, so
all of that.
Yes. Lines and Veils. Just a quick reminder, lines on sexual assault and religious persecution, veils on eye injuries, graphic gore, harm to animals, harm to children, sexual content, and torture. And we have a new role for your party that I set up last time. So we take up at the court of the Arbiter here. This is at Baradvishi Fastness, old imperial castle that was converted into the Arbiter's sort of central stronghold. We saw last time that Tormod, or the time before last actually, that Tormod has a chateau outside of the city limits. We take up a little while down the road. I like to imagine that sort of at the end of last session, we were kind of maybe heading into winter. Winter has come and gone. Here we are in spring again, with the Arbiter calling the court together. And when that happens, we kind of take a look at where the project is, and we remind ourselves about who the Arbiter is, what they're about. So once again, our Arbiter is the Order of Nikolenko. Nikolenko was the big general. Yes, it is. Nikolenko was a big general who kind of led the whole thing, but died in the final battles. And his successors, the Arbiter and then the Arbiter sort of minions, have established the legendary warriors playbook. They are oligarchic, meaning that we have the Arbiter in the center, and then all of the various sort of adventurer heroes are holding different areas out and throughout the line. They are focused. They are, as the game says, the tyrant for you to throw yourself against. There's some ceremonies, some laws that they adhere to, and they have iron discipline, which makes them a little weak to subterfuge in some ways. And the Arbiter's agent is the Arbiter's Falcon, and they are kind of the messenger figure. We haven't really seen them on the table. Maybe we will today. Our big goal for the session today is going to be seeing if we can finish out the project that we have on the table. The project is at 2 progress and 2 doom. So it is neck and neck. But a lot of people have managed to get together surpluses, so we'll see about how that plays out. And the land itself, let's look and see. I'm sure that control, oh my gosh. Turmoil is equal to control right now. That's wild. Wonder how that happened. Because, if turmoil goes above control, then the bad things start to happen. It becomes harder to move things across the countryside. It becomes more problematic to do things. And when court is called, there will be disasters in the making. So let's take up with this, with the teachers of the ancient truth. Teachers of the ancient truth, what is your favor at with the Arbiter right now?
My favor is at 2, I believe. It's at
Yeah,
the top. Yeah.
yeah. You are certainly well beloved. The Arbiter is well disposed to you. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so, and I don't. Do you have any? You have
Uh-huh.
hallowed. How are you playing this today? Because I certainly there's sort of difference between how your family feels about the Arbiter and how you feel about the Arbiter.
It's very true. Yes. Dadushka, who I need to rechange on name on here. Dadushka is not as fond of them, but my family will continue, at least for another court, to ring the praises of the beloved Arbiter. They are doing marvelous things, and it will only continue due to their wisdom. And of course, they did just help our house to procure some vellum, so we feel we owe it. So we are lauding them to the high heavens.
Yes, and yet that vellum that you need to copy out that amazing
Yes.
piece of literature that will stand as the cornerstone, the
Yes.
Mabinogion of your country there.
Indeed. Um, so I get to roll with advantage.
I could have better things. I don't know why the Mabinogion was the only name of a national epic that came to mind. I don't know.
Oh, this stupid roller and its changing of dice.
Yes,
Well, that's an 8.
it's an 8. So the trick is to look away from the roller. Click
That's
it and look away.
because you look about. Oh, that's
Oh, it's so disappointing. So when we go to the holding court move,
Mm-hmm.
and this is on favor and ages, on a 7 to 9, they have something they need from you.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they will come to the teachers, and the
Mm-hmm.
arbiter will say, "We we are pleased with the work you have done, and the development we have put out there, and so on. We we have moved to do this bringing in of Sneadosh into the fold of our great nation. But one of the things we've heard is people uh, not as enamored of certain aspects of our land. We
Yes.
would like for you, since you are the speakers and the messengers and so on, we would like you to bring prestige to the church. We think the church is the cornerstone of what we do. So we would like you to work to add prestige to the church."
Really great arbiters. Surely the church, you say?
Yes.
Of course, great arbiter. We will do our best to spin gold from dross.
Is that how you feel, teachers? You feel that the church is dross?
I feel it is a relic of the empire, and your glory should shine after the empire's influence is gone.
The church is the church of the land. Understand that.
Of course, arbiter, of course.
It would not have been a victory in those final days if many of us did not sit and pray on that last night and receive the anointment from the church, that feeling of the stars reaching down to us.
Of course, Arbiter, though I do remember the church was not particularly eager to support Nicolicus.
That is why we must raise them up and have an edge on them.
Of course, Arbiter, we will do our very best.
And you can tell there's another like there's another plan in the works here. Like this is a piece of something for the Arbiter.
And I love this. Thank you, Lowell, because it gives Dadushka another reason to really hate what his house is doing.
Exactly, that's what you wanted.
It is what I want.
Let's come to the Horse Lords of the Steppe. Josh, you are also at +2 favor. And muted in some way.
Am I muted?
Yes. I think I read your lips there. You said, am I muted?
That is.
It's not showing you as muted, so I think maybe it's muted on your end.
Yeah.
Oh, you're super quiet now.
Am I? That's odd.
That's so weird.
Is this audible at all?
Yes, but very, very quiet.
That's so odd.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to make myself louder somehow. I don't think mine.
Is it maybe something in you?
Is this louder at all?
It's certainly better than from the beginning. Do you have is your mic off your ear, or is it a mic somewhere else?
It's off my ear. It should be. I'm not sure why it would be, or... Okay.
Yeah, because I don't think there's any setting for volume.
Does this work?
That's
very
much
loud.
louder.
It's much louder with a kind of a weird like let's talk unmute yourself. Let me hear it again. No, now it's nothing.
Okay, this, am I?
We can
Loud
hear you,
and sort of feedbacky.
but we can hear you at least. There, that sounded better. Talk again.
Talk more.
Now, am I doing anything, or?
It's a little
Less-
feedbacky, but that's okay. We can just.
Yeah, we're coming into better volume range.
Yes.
Any sort of?
Good. Sounds good.
Okay, great.
So, with a +2, let's see how the Horse Lords do. They have gone from not great to great.
Ooh, now we are back to my original problem, which is that my Chrome browser froze. Which is what I said, and then you told me that I was muted, and that problem came up. I have dice
If you have dice, then roll those dice. Dem bones.
Okay, D6s are what I need. That is a 5 and a 4, which +2 is an 11.
Look at you. So we look at the favor and ages. So on a 10 to plus, you are given trusted access to part of their regime, give you control over one or more of the surpluses invested in the project. The Arbiter, let's see, the surpluses that are invested at that, and then the Arbiter says one of the problems that we have or horse lords, is a lack of information. We've been trading with the Sneadosh, and we've heard some things, and we've had some weirdnesses, but we have a set of agents, let us say, men who walk far, who can assist with things. We want them to investigate into Sneadosh.
The the horse lord envoy, I don't think it is Ekaterina. I don't think she's in the right place. Nods and goes, yes, we can escort them there.
We want your people, some of them, to go with them to provide support in the field there.
We have problems of our own, but we will commit as much as we can.
That is all I can ask. The Arbiter listens. You rolled well. The Arbiter doesn't press too much on this, but the Arbiter is clearly starved for accurate information about what's going on there. Let us come then to the envoys of the wider world.
Hello.
Hello.
So I have a +1 favor,
Yes.
but just as a reminder, I roll off a different set of results than everyone else
Oh, that's right.
for my house move not from here. When the Arbiter is holding court, instead of the normal results, use these below.
Okay.
So let me roll with a +1. You guys. Just not even gonna, it's over there. Who knows
over
what's
there, yeah.
happening? Oh, okay. Well, that's an 11.
So the Arbiter is glad to see you and calls you out by name. Tormod. Tormod, it's been too long. I received the nectarines that you sent and some of the other gifts. They were well regarded. The fish, perhaps less so, but
It is an acquired taste, I've been told.
I had much of it during the war, and I think perhaps I acquired it during that time, and since that it passed out of my head. But come and sit and tell me. We consider ourselves brothers to the Novigrad. It's good to see you. We are well met. I know that you have been working studiously to serve the interests of your own homeland as well as ours. And we certainly appreciate the work that you have done. Lady Salagon spoke most highly of you.
We had a very interesting interaction between the two of us.
She
I can't
described
say as I've
you.
met someone quite like her in recent memory.
She described you as generous and willing to help out the interests of the land. We appreciate that.
We are here to bring a fresh perspective on your problems. I was only happy to offer what advice I could to her.
Good. Now, what can we do for you? How can we repay you for the work that you have done so far?
Well, I have to say that being here so far from home, I had not thought through maybe all of the logistics of being halfway across the world from your home.
Mm-hmm.
And I find myself perhaps having come with too few people, to make a proper entourage of things. You understand, I think, better than anyone in this land, the import of making a good impression when you show up somewhere and telling people where things stand just by your presentation. And I have to say, even with the finest of presentations, with only a dozen people accompanying me, sometimes it takes a bit of convincing to make people see who I am.
I had heard that you had gathered more recruits into your ranks.
Yes, it's been what I've been working on, and it's been very. I found some of your countrymen who are very willing to take on a paycheck and show the honor of your country by working for me. But I have to admit, I'm having trouble returning the honor to them, as the armaments that we have for them are sadly lacking. Now, of course, we have goods and riches plenty from Novgorod with us, but the hard steels of your kingdom are not what we specialize in. If they had weapons, then truly my recruits would be worth respecting.
So what do you want to swap, Patrick, for the weaponry?
Swap luxury for weaponry.
Okay.
Which will sort of put me at neutral for both, but
Yeah.
then I have more work in Ozdabiak to try and get some more weapons out of them.
Absolutely.
It sets me up well for that.
And what's your second pick?
Oh God, I gotta think through lots of things. No, that's funny. But how about I hear a rumor about events in the nation that bears further investigation?
Do you in this nation or in your home nation? Which do you think it's referring to?
The nation, I think, refers to y'all.
Okay.
It talks about my patron generally when it's talking about my
That's
place.
right. That's right. So let me take a look at the map. Oh, I know. Let me confirm on this. So one of the people that you have as an agent here in this court will come and speak with you and will say, I have picked up a most unusual rumor, one that may be of interest to you.
Oh, you know I'm always interested in the strange. The unexpected?
I don't know if you know that in the waning days of the war, that the Physicers who served the Emperor, their wagons were captured.
Makes sense to break supply lines in war.
Well, but doctors traditionally are. But of course, times are as times are. I had in the past heard that they'd in fact been killed. But I've now heard that some of the doctors were able to buy their way out of this so as not to be executed as agents of the Empire. And a group of them and their families, they were transported to the Lost Island.
Huh.
And I have
That
heard
is...
rumors from people. It said that there's not supposed to be any exchange back and forth with the Lost Island, but that perhaps messages are coming back and forth, perhaps by pigeon or something, and there is some possible transit of medicines coming from there. Now, if these doctors are there and laying low outside of the Arbiter's view, if their crimes have been forgotten, well, you can see what that would mean.
Indeed. I have to say, when you first mentioned it, I thought they were just stealing bandages and medicine, but to kill Physicers themselves, that is such a waste. It's wonderful to hear that they there was at least someone there smart enough to see the value in a long-term investment. And I'm sure they've been a boon to the poor wretches that inhabit that island.
Yes, I think part of the problem had been that the Physicers worked alongside the questioners. And that may be why the Arbiter has, and the people have looked askance at them, and they have been exiled as they are.
These are fresh days. The winter is past and we come into spring. What was done in the war was done in desperation. And can any of us judge anyone else without first looking into our own souls?
You speak like a churchman.
I think I'll let that one pass for now.
In any case, that's the information you get. Does that seem fair?
Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah. Tadushka, do you attend the court, or are you at the household of your family? And I have a question about what your family's doing. I'm going to let you answer I'm going to ask you a second question to think about, maybe to answer maybe first before you decide. The family told you last season that they would put their efforts towards Sneadosh once they had secured those lands there in the new lands of the teachers there.
And they have, because we've come to a new season.
Yes. Do they follow through?
Their emissary to me is the lady, and I think we came up with a name, but I can't remember.
Yeah.
Cormond is the head of the council at the moment, and he's the one who talks to the Arbiter and does all that genuflecting, sucking up sort of stuff. But even, I did want to convey, even he found this last request kind of distasteful. I don't think I'm there.
Right.
That Dadushka's there. I think I have stuff Dadushka's doing.
Elizabeth.
I think she comes back to say, to tell Cormond and the council that this agreement has been made, and she's trying to have it. She's saying we have to do it. I don't think Cormond wants to agree to it, which then brings me to the question, Lowell. Did she agree for the council, or did she agree just for herself?
Whoever would have spoken to the Arbiter would have agreed for your house.
Okay, that wasn't her.
Yeah. So she would come back. She is not as keen on this, but she will bring back that our envoy made these statements to the Arbiter that we need to do this thing.
Well, what I mean is, when she agreed to that, she would send all her help.
Okay.
To Sneadosh. Was she speaking for the council or just for herself?
I think that is a question for you.
See, I have to bow to you because I have selfish reasons that I would choose.
Well, then here's what we're going to do.
Person.
I'm gonna grab a die here.
Ooh, all right, a fate die.
Fate die. Oh yeah, she was speaking for herself completely. She comes to you chagrined. Master Dadushka.
Yes.
I have betrayed you. I have betrayed your trust. I have betrayed your confidence. I have betrayed your honor. When I went, having gotten assurances from others that we would follow through on the promises that I made to you, when I went to speak to those of the council, with the thaw coming to move in that direction.
Yes.
They they put me off. They said that other matters had arisen, the vellum in the east, and this requirement to support the church, and that those things, given the
Requirement to
arbiters,
support the church? What do you mean?
and she will kind of lay out what was asked.
Coleman agreed to this.
Coleman agreed to this and agreed to turn our scriptoriums over to copying the books, the volume that the Arbiter has written.
Elizabeth, you made me a promise.
I thought in good faith from the others that this promise could be fulfilled, would be fulfilled.
I understand, and I will forgive you.
I thought that by this time there would be others that would have followed you and learned that ritual, and we could move people there quickly, that these things could all be done.
I bring them the land they seek. I have shown them the new way, and they ignore me. Elizabeth, as I say, I will forgive you this, but that does not mean I don't need you to do something for me. Garment is a cancer within our house. There will be a time very soon where this council needs to change.
I understand. I am your instrument, and I obey.
Spread the word. The last of the old council will be returning home soon.
All right. So that will be an interesting thing. We'll resolve that as a move here on the next go around, I think, actually, because I think that this is hold together if you come in to push on that. Does that seem fair?
Seems fair.
Let's come back to our horse clans. What is it that you are doing at Katharina? Are you at court or are you elsewhere when all of this happens?
I don't think that Yekaterina is at court, but I think other horse lords certainly are.
Mm-hmm. Perhaps your uncle being honored for his valor in those battles to the south, and
yeah,
and
I think
others.
that would make a lot of sense. Yeah, there to report and receive an award or something.
So, do we want to take a check in on what Katharina is doing, or do you want to resolve a horse lord move?
I think I would like to resolve a horse lord move.
What is it that you would like to do?
Well, I think the horse lords rather would like to. I think that the season has turned, and the scouts across the Poslednaya have sort of cemented our grazing lands there.
Yeah, that was the season required to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that the horse lords are going to bring back the scouts, and recollect them for future deployment.
Okay. And that's easy enough to do. That's a surplus that doesn't, because of the nature of things, is the turmoil is not above the situation, so you can easily move things.
Yeah, fantastic. I think actually that is probably what the horse lords are doing in response to the Arbiter's demand of helping bring resources to explore across into Sneadosh. I think those scouts are probably among the horse lords that travel into Sneadosh escorting the Arbiter's men.
Absolutely. How about, I think there's two roles that we could do with this, I think. We could either have you roll subterfuge to see how well you manage and handle those things and be rolling with sleight, or we could have you roll read the wind to represent what information you draw from that, and that would be rolled with reach. Which do you think, I mean, are your scouts that you're putting into this effort being more active in what they're doing, or just, just listening and trying to pick up information?
Well, I suppose that they are probably being more active.
Okay.
Um,
That sounds like subterfuge.
yeah.
What's your sleight?
My sleight is -1.
Absolutely. Let me just take a quick sip here.
That is 3 and a 2, a 4.
That is delicious. So, you will send your horsemen in to alongside these scouts to take a look at the situation, to find out more, to make more decisions about what has gone on, and I think that in the course of that, your people are found where they're not supposed to be. They are not great spies. There are accusations that are made, and the crown of Sneadosh sends formal envoys to protest. Envoys both to your land, but also to Novgorod, to protest this invasion. And I think that will raise turmoil by 1, and it will also lower your favor with the Arbiter by 1.
Oh, the horrible, horrible turmoil.
Yes.
Indeed.
How did it even get so high?
So when the turmoil goes above control, there is an effect that triggers at that point here. My favorite move. Turmoil. Okay. 5 turmoil claimed by force. Breaks. Turmoil is over control. All houses attempting to use logistics must pick an extra option, even if their mood is positive. And I think that is it. I don't think there's any other big loss. I thought there was another tick that went up, but I'm not seeing it right this second. Mapping law. Yeah. So there is argumentation. There's political back and forth. All of that kind of thing, and because I'm raising turmoil in conjunction with this, I'm not going to, because your favor went down, make you make a hold together roll, which is the usual mechanic for that, because I think tripling up the badness is too much. But who is it that has made this error? Let's give a name or a face to how this went wrong.
Yeah, I think the guy who the lieutenant or what have you that was leading the scouts, and who had been, you know, keeping them on this like herding route across the Poslednia, uh, was this rider named Igor, and I think Igor uh, had gotten soft across the river, and he was,
Doing his
lazy, and
time
he
with the
was just,
forge. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, he was in the forge, and he was herding sheep, and then they sent him down across, and uh, he made a fool of himself, and he got himself and his men found out.
Absolutely. And you will get word back about this, and you know that the Arbiter is unhappy, and that this is bad because you have not completed the objective set to you by the Arbiter, and so much has gone wrong in the span of this. Also, remember the other thing: the first time each era that turmoil goes above control, we add another doom to the project. So we're at 3 doom, 2 progress. We will come back to the Horse Lords. Tormod, you will catch wind of this quite quickly, especially when your people send down hawks carrying messages to say that there's an embassy from Sneadosh. They've come here. They're complaining about spies and invasions and so on, and that they understood that their neighbors to the north wanted peace, but now it seems like they're preparing for war, and so on.
That's difficult. Because I definitely had plans, but character playbooks. One of my roll move triggers for champion is mark when you're wrong column. Mark when you're sent to bring peace between 2 groups. Say who your contacts are in each, and GM says what grudge is keeping them apart. So now I'm torn.
Yeah. Do you want to insert yourself into this?
No, I'm here in the center, and I'm gonna with the court, and I'm gonna lose like the opportunity of brief favor. I can just hope that things continue to go terribly for them, and there will still be time for me to step in later.
Sure.
Okay, because one of the things that I'm supposed to do in my stuff is to gather resources of this land and transport it back up north. And the best resource I've found so far is these dead, not dead gods. So I've had my interactions with Pomacy, and he's been generous thus far, but
Gave you leads on lots of surpluses.
I'm more than capable enough of spotting someone slimy even if I can't quite see his trick yet. So it's great to have these deals on his terms that he wants to make, but he's an old god of this land, and surely the old people of this land had a ritual of some sort to, worked up to work with him on a bit more even footing. So there are a couple of moves. I don't know if this would be like unearth forgotten lore when you investigate a landmark or ritual from the past, or if it would fall under learn a ritual, but I don't exactly have a tutor.
Yeah,
but I'm here. I have the Arbiter's library sort of and some good favor. I want to dig into it.
Let's I think this is unearth.
Okay.
I think that's the starting point for this.
the good part is that either way, we're sticking with theme, and I'm rolling lore, which is of course my -1 because I only do things that I have a -1 at.
I think everyone is in that boat today. Don't look at the dice. Don't look at the dice.
Oh, yep, just they're over there. Whoa, an interesting spot on the wall. Oh, right. I'm sorry. I rolled dice. Oh, God.
Yes, yes.
That's a 2. A 2.
It's a 2.
That's a 2.
So what you rolled was a 3.
Yeah, I rolled a 3, a 1 and a 2. But what it came down to was just a 2.
Oh my gosh. Give me 1 second to contemplate this here.
I mean, what could even go wrong? I'm just digging into the weaknesses of a god.
You are in the library. You are peeling away. So there's a mix of old imperial books and other ones from the older days. You know, much of it was hidden and squirreled away by the teachers and elsewhere, and that there are various kinds of books that are around and about scattered across the land. But I think as you were there, perhaps as we see you working, as we can see the shadows lengthen, even though no time is passing. I mean, we can see you turning pages, but the shadows are lengthening. And I think then we'll see those shadows kind of form up like a silhouette, and we will see this figure form out of the shadow. And it will say, Tormod Ingridson.
Ah! What? Who's there? Come closer to the light. I can't see you.
Remember that you asked. And he steps forward into the light, and there is shadow that's sort of like a cape or a cloak upon him. And at first you think it's a mask, but you will realize that it is this emaciated skull face here. And it will say, you seek to bind those of us who remain and walk.
No, you misunderstand. I simply, in admiration, wish to learn more about your history.
I am called Kritomir the Far Death.
That must translate into something beautiful, I'm sure.
From now on, I will be the one you speak with. If you have any business with those gods who still remain.
I'm sure, yes, if I need to meet any new gods or make any new connections, I'm sure I could come to you.
Give me your hand.
Would my word not suffice? Are you calling upon the honor of Novgorod? Do you doubt me?
Give me your hand.
I think he'd try to at least run once.
Okay. Yeah, let's have you disarm with bravery here.
Bravery. Oh well, it's not as bad as my lore.
That's right.
Just a shadow god. I mean, it's just gonna. He's a kid. I'm gonna. Are you kidding me? That's a 2.
Happy birthday to you.
Kritamir is already there, and he grabs your hand, and you can feel it age and wither and die, and then is reborn again onto your hand. I have told you what I want, how this will be done. If you cross me, this hand will wither and die.
A fair enough deal.
The others laugh and joke and move around and trick and bargain, but I see the potential in these days. Let me teach you something. And he whispers words in your ear, and you know that you know a ritual, but you don't know what it does. And you don't know what it costs. But you may enact it later if you wish.
Do I know, like, when I could enact it or why I would?
We leave that up to the fiction. Essentially, what I've given you is enact a ritual, so you can enact a ritual as you would wish, and we'll play with what that does based on what you roll.
Gotcha.
Does that sound good?
Okay, that's right, because that's the, like, I say what I hope it's going to do, and then we see what happens sort of thing.
Yeah. I wanted to give you some space in the fiction for that.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
And what is his name one more time? Sorry.
Kritamir the Far Death.
That's so comforting. All right, that was great. That went well. Everything's good.
Absolutely. Oh, that brings us back to the other person for whom nothing bad can happen. Oh, you were going back to overthrow your country, weren't you? Okay. Dadushka.
Oh, yeah.
We've had a line of outrageous successes. So you're there.
Yes, I am intending to go back and, but before I head back, I'm going to see if I can find Yekaterina.
She's there at your disposal.
My dear friend, I have seen something dark in my house, and I just can't let it continue.
Dedushka, if there is anything I can do to assist you in this time, I will do it. I know that you have done many things for me, and I owe you many things.
Yeshkaya, thank you. I wish to go back to my house and cast down the fool that runs it now. And your strong arm beside me could make all the difference.
I will do this for you.
Thank you. And I will take the two of us back to home, back to Olegosnaya.
Tell me what that looks like. What do we see on screen? I mean, we've seen it kind of in the background, but what do we actually see now for it?
The city itself is a place of brick. It is built of, it is quite large, and much of it is that sort of brown mud brick. But in its center is the great library and area where the teachers convene, and it is all of red brick, and it is kept meticulously clean, and it has an onion dome to the top of it, and there is much painting around it. It's bright. It's very, almost garishly bright. I think Dadushka, with Yektrina with him, is, riding in. And I've already sent ahead to Isabed to prepare the council, let some of those that she's with that we think we can sway know I'm coming to basically say Corman's selling us out.
Absolutely. Let me look here really quick, Dadushka. So you will ride in, and there are some that have left, some that have fallen away. There are some that remain here on your side, but there are a larger body of people that here have Corman's back.
Mm-hmm.
The Arbiter has been good to the family. They have new lands. They have vellum. They have surpluses. They have gained much in this. And to go against that seems foolishness.
Yes, I anticipated I'd have to speak to them.
And I think you will go, essentially you'll be brought into the council chambers. Let me ask you this. So here's what I want. Before we can even get to here, I think you're going to have to diffuse to be able to get into the space to get to them, because I can see some possible outcomes. So let's start with that as a character move here.
All right. So the character move is
bravery, which is something that's a strong point for you.
It is good. But what role am I doing?
We are doing disarm.
Oh, disarm. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I said diffuse.
That's an 11.
So what does that look like? You with the Katharina at your side, how is it that you bring this situation to bear? What happens here?
I think that there's been rumors that Corman has been sending out. He's felt like something is coming. So he's let out rumors that I'm coming with this, army to do, that it's going to be some sort of coup. And instead I come in and I am extremely friendly to the people. And I begin, what I'm trying to show them is I brought the river of peace back into flow. I opened up this new land to us. The land is remembering us, and I'm here to help you see what the land wants, see what these blessings are coming from. So where he was saying it was going to be some sort of very military thing, instead it's me talking, communicating, connecting with everyone.
And we'll see you up before the council. We'll see the council going on. And there eventually comes that point at which Cormod, rises to challenge you. And I assume at some point in this is when remembered oaths come into play.
Yeah, but see, that's why I ask if it was her or everybody. Because if it's only her who made the promise, then
but they made promises to her in turn. Remember that what she said?
Yeah. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
All right. So, then, as he speaks, and he's speaking a moment or two, I think I probably just stand and interrupt him. This is very fine words you're saying, Corman. But have you told everyone here that is now the place of the teachers to uplift the church in this land? Have you told them that we are bowing before an arbiter that brings foreign gods and says that these people are the land itself? Garment, you have lost your way. You do not teach any longer. You are a deceiver.
Let's have you roll lore.
That's a 9.
That is a 9. What is the curse?
Oh, this is so good. I have so wanted to do this one. They're ooh. Yeah, let's go with their finery rots within hours of being donned.
I like that. I like that. I think that I want to try a mechanic that we haven't tried before here, because I think that people will see this and they'll gasp as his clothes rot away, and I think that's the point at which essentially the Corbin's man-at-arms will step up. Blade comes out and he moves up to engage. Do you step to Dushka, or Ekaterina, do you step up?
I actually have a question.
Yes.
Well, I think Ekaterina does step up.
Okay.
But my question is that Ekaterina has the move Know Your Adversary, which is when you have the time and a vantage point to study your foe unobserved, he makes him hold. And I think that in this confrontation between Dadushka and his fellow teachers, Yekaterina probably has been able to fade into the background and observe this moment heating up.
That does seem reasonable. You get 2 hold for that, for your bravery.
Yes. So Yekaterina is going to step up to defend Dadushka.
Figure steps up and moves and positions himself to duel you.
Yeah.
I will certainly step back.
Yeah, Yekaterina is ready to duel.
Okay.
She'll have those hold and...
Yes. So, what is your might?
My might is 0.
Okay.
Run
Neither of you
of the
right
mill.
at this moment are better equipped. You're both prepared. Would you say that you're avenging a grudge?
I think in a way I am.
Okay.
I think.
So we'll give you a hold for that on the dual move. So you get a hold for that. And I do think at this point, given the cursing, that the audience favors you. So right now you have 2 hold on the character move duel. Okay. So what you do is, as you duel, you and your opponents take in turn to describe your actions and pick a statement from the list below. Keep taking turns till the duel is over. Now, in this sequence, at any point, you can also use your hold from your other move, okay? Just so that is available. And we're going to start with you since you're the PC. Just to tell you, I have 1 hold from Might and 1 hold from Grudge.
All right. Yekaterina. Okay, first move. So I describe my action and then pick a statement.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you get to pick any of those statements. There's base statements that do add no hold. There's statements that gain hold, and there's statements that cost you hold.
Okay, I see. Okay. I get it now, I think. Yekaterina tests his defenses. Fall. So she has a knife, certainly. Actually, I think she might only have a knife for melee weapons as it stands.
You
Okay.
have the spear of Boris Bloodtooth.
Oh, you're right. I do have the spear.
Oh, so give yourself another hold for being better equipped.
Yeah. What is the spear? The spear of...
Boris Bloodtooth, which is the one I gave you, which still has the something huge it can do.
Yes, it is still...
I'm not sure this is the moment.
This is probably not the moment.
Yeah.
But Yekaterina certainly has the spear on her, with her grandfather's knife, which is a melee and weird weapon.
Mm-hmm.
So she is going to, test his defenses. She's going to dodge in and needle him a little bit and see sort of how he reacts. Fall back or reveal your full capabilities.
I think he will stand his ground. You can tell that the armor, he's well armored, he's skilled. And he's been chosen from amongst the guardsmen, and he's strong. Perhaps a little bit shocked when his sword comes up and hits against that spear, and it doesn't turn aside as much as it should. And if you've ever seen Dragon Slayer, we see those sparks come off when the sword hits the spear, and that's going back and forth there. So I have 2 hold. I think he will come in pretty heedless of your attacks, and you have a choice. You can take a flesh wound or yield. He will take a flesh wound from this.
I will take a flesh wound.
Okay. So he comes in. He's a better one-on-one, like dueling person. You're so used to being on the horse and things like that. So there is that moment where and you've got this spear where he gets in and you get the spear across him and cut him across the side, but then his blade comes across your ring mail and slices in and will feel that cut. And then it's back to you.
I am going to so Yekaterina she her hand goes to her wound and she gets a little bit angry. Before she was needling, but now like blood has been drawn, and she knows this is serious. And she gets her she comes in close and she gets the knife inside of his guard. Yield or take a flesh wound.
I don't think he can yield, so I will take a second flesh wound. So next stuff is going to be heavy wounds. I think that he's going to spend one of his hold, and he turns and he starts striking heavy at you, not trying to knock that spear out of your hands or cut your armor. So he's going to strike at your armaments, yield, or I knock away a weapon or a piece of your armor.
He knocks away my armor. He knocks away... where is my character? I have my ranger's outfit on, which has some plates and some defensive stuff. And I think he gets a strap that's holding it on, and his sword cuts the leather strap through, and my like one of the plates start like drooping and falling off of me.
And it's back to you.
Well, I'm gonna spend one of my hold from before. I'm gonna spend one of my know your adversary hold, and I'm going to remove a key weapon from my enemy.
So how do you knock that sword out of his hand?
Well, I think in that same move, he strikes me and he gets the leather straps and he cuts it, but he is now close to me. And Yekaterina, I think, grabs his sword hand and wrestles it out of him and throws it to the ground.
Oh yeah, and he pulls back. You've still got your move from the duel because that was outside of that. That was a hold you have from your move. So what is it you want to do as your actual duel move here?
Yekaterina takes advantage of his existing wounds. She's in close. Yield, or she turns a flesh wound into a heavy wound, or a heavy wound into a deadly wound.
I think he will turn into a heavy wound and blood is coming out and he will draw a dagger out. He is at a disadvantage here. And I think with his last hold, he is going to also try to take advantage of your wounds, try to harm you.
Yeah, Yekaterina turns a flesh wound into a heavy wound.
Okay. And then it's back to you. You've still got a hold from your other move, and you still have a hold from duel.
Yeah. Okay. Yekaterina strikes at his armaments. So yield
Knocks
or
aside that dagger he pulled out from his side. That goes flying.
Yeah, she again with her own like big long knife. It's a dagger. It's not a knife. She clashes with him and it grips the metal and she just rips it out of his hand. And now he has nothing.
Let me ask you this. You have that moment now.
Yeah.
You've got 2 messages to send. You can finish him right now with the Spirit of the Gods, and that is a message that will echo through here. Or you can, attempt to show mercy. Which is it?
She does not finish him with the Spear of the Gods.
Okay.
But she does take the Spear of the Gods, and I think as he's, recoiling, he's in the worst position. She strikes him with the haft of it, and he falls to the ground, just out, right? And then she, slams the spear down as if to be like, you shall not pass.
It cracks the floor. Like when you slam that down, it hits and the room shakes and cracks come out from it and spread for several feet in every direction. And there's a sharp intake of breath, and you will see some of your rivals, people, like they see this and they are, hustling him out, because his clothing is falling to ribbons around him, and they yield the court to you.
I have found a hero of ages. The spear of Boris Bloodtooth has been touched by the gods. I come here bringing the future. Cormand, you are now past.
And I think that is a good point to go to the break on. When we come back, we are going to come back to Tormund, who is going to get advantage on whatever move he does, because we're going to zoom back out. So does that seem reasonable? Let's take a few minutes, 5+. I'm going to make myself some more tea. And I imagine the camera is pulling away from the scene there. So we will come back in a bit.
Oh my God, lol, I love this game. Which is why on the podcast I talk so good about it. And folks at home, y'all should the Gauntlet podcast.
That was
Watch,
a good episode.
subscribe, rank, and review. It's a top 100 podcast currently in the gaming on the gaming list.
Oh, I didn't know that.
98.
Oh, well, with a bullet.
But we are. I went in and looked, and it's
that's
a
nice.
top 100.
Yeah. There are a lot of gaming podcasts.
Well, there's 98 at least.
Touche, Monsieur Pussycat. All right. All right. So we cut away from that scene that will be painted in murals for generations to come. I mean, you can imagine just what that looks like with the council in the background pulling back up like this, and the spear and all of that. It will be wondrous and beautiful. But Tormund, you had a visitation.
Yeah, that was great. That was fine. There was nothing wrong. I just had a nice time at the library.
What would you like to do now, either Tormund or your family?
So I looked at the zoom out, and it was like you're talking about your character goes to do something, and then you talk about how that feeds into a family move and gives you advantage. So I think he's definitely running away from where we are. Not running. He's just a very busy person and needs to speedily get from place to place.
Hey,
and
Master
place
Tormund.
is not here.
Yes.
The bar at Vichy Fastness. That's where we are with
Yeah.
the. Okay, so he's away from that shit. And I think he is heading back down to Azdabiak. Because obviously, I mean, none of that stuff happened in the library, and even if it was just personal business, and he can just ignore it all as long as he's doing official business. So we need to get back to the official business.
Absolutely.
Not ever sleep again, maybe. So what I would like is, I managed to pay for some resources and some things there, get my new recruits who were from that town armed up with the weapons that honestly probably most of them already had sitting around anyways.
Right.
They're just bilking me out of money. So I had heard that, the what's his name barbarian was a collector of strange and rare weapons, and I just need the help of them to find where that sort of cache might be. Because I know there's more weapons here, right? Just a few more.
So, is this you going on your pilgrimage?
Which what?
I'm trying to think now. It wasn't you that got the need to go on the pilgrimage up the mountains. That was something else.
I do have a thing I need to go up the mountain for, but that's for mounts. And I will
you've
get
also
to that.
you've also still got those bandits that you could turn into spies and stuff.
Yes.
So how is it? So you want to seize control of the weapon surplus here in Ostabiak.
I want to find a surplus here and take it, however that works. I don't have a special move for it.
Here's the thing. Last time you did the legwork for this, right? You did the subterfuge.
I came in, I helped the people rise up and overthrow the barbarian lord.
One of the things that the book says is if someone does something to find an appropriate surplus, they gain that surplus. There's not a roll for that. So if you tell me on this round, you'll still get that advantage on the next thing you do. But if you tell me that you ride down there, just tell me how it is that you get a hold of that weapons and capitalize on all that legwork that you did last time.
I do think it, because we have these generals and barons and dukes and whatever that are of this very classic trad game OSR adventurer mold.
Yes.
So I do think there's just that it's the weirdly trapped and latched vault that when you open it up, like it's the whole like adventurer's collection from level 1 to level 20, just all the weird weapons and strange things that he took off of foes along his way.
Yeah, not a discriminating a collector of items. like if we were playing Skyrim, he'd be just putting everything in the boxes, and he'd still have his like level 3 items because he just couldn't bear to part with them.
And they're definitely like each and every one still smeared with blood.
Absolutely. Some wheels of cheese in there. You will.
What are you even going to do with those?
Yeah, you will seize control of that. And when you come out, you start distributing this out. I think that's the point at which, before we move on to the next sort of family character movie you want to do, that one of your people will come and say, Lord Ingridson, the Falcon is here and wishes to speak with you.
Falcon. Have I met the Falcon?
The Arbiter's Falcon, Iljana Skudra. The Arbiter's
sounds important.
Agent and right-hand person.
More so than someone like her name, Seta something.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Sigalin. Lady
yeah,
Sigalin.
She's more important than Sigalin. Sigalin would disagree.
Well, then, obviously, if this is a first official meeting, then we need to, sort of like before with Valdemar, lay out the sort of traditional feast hall feast as a welcoming gesture.
And she will come in. She is in a kind of black leathers and so on. She is that intimidating, the Raven kind of thing from Game of Thrones, and she comes and looks around. She has I think we established a large axe that is sort of absurd. That is her magic weapon, and that it's there. You can kind of see it, but it's also kind of not weighing her at all. And she will say, Master Ingridson, we are well met this day.
Madam Falcon, should it be?
Lady Skudra is fine enough.
Lady Skudra, a pleasure.
I see that you've laid this out. I much appreciate that. I must be on the road here soon, so you will excuse me if I only partake a little.
Of course. The wonderful thing about a Novgorodi feast is it is made to sustain one for long, hard voyages.
And perhaps with your permission, I will pack up some things as well to take on the road.
Of course. This is all for you, please.
I have it to understand that the Lord of Azdabiak is indisposed.
It's a tragic story. I've been here trying to help the people as best I could, but they simply couldn't live under his rule, apparently, and rose up against him. The stories I've heard, I can't blame them, but they were horribly put out. It is dangerous to go against a lord and his keep. So I, as a neutral outsider, I'm just here to aid and assist them as I can as they recover.
That seems fine. I have writ and permission from the Arbiter to appoint a temporary guardian for the town. I will make that out to you if you will consider holding it for the next few months. And when that period is done, you will choose a native of our country to serve as your successor. You may handpick who you wish to have serve as your successor.
Of course, that makes sense. Please tell the Arbiter that I admire the sensibility of this plan, seeing the need to maintain continuity and order in
Absolutely,
unfortunate
absolutely.
situations.
And with the Arbiter wanted to make sure that his stamp was on this, so no one would perceive that a foreigner had seized control of anything
Of course
here.
not.
We do not want that perception to be in the commonplace. So allow me to write this out then. Do you have a scrivener, a scribe here, perhaps? Yes, thank you. And she will pull out from a pouch quickly a document among many documents, and she will write out a writ that she will attach a seal to, and she will pass it over to you. She will say, "You have a season, and then you will send us who is taking over."
Of course. I'm sure in the chaos as we calm everything down, a natural leader will emerge.
Can I have something pop in here at this moment?
Sure. I want to let me have her say something, and then I'm going to have you
Of
pop
course,
in.
of course, of course.
She says, "There is one thing.
Isn't there always?
As you know, Zdabiak has a fine collection. There are one or two things that the Arbiter wishes me to have transported back to the Barat Vichy fastness.
One or two things.
Weapons from the vault. Not enough to put a dent in what is there, but things that have historic or sentimental value."
Of course, I think that's entirely reasonable. Please come. Let us take a look through the collection. You can tell me exactly what it is.
Absolutely. She will draw out a piece of paper. Here are the two items with their full descriptions written on them that we would like.
And I would like to. Did she? I don't know. Is she sort of on the level of counting like a house, or?
She's an agent for the Arbiter. If you need things done, you can call, like literally your house can call her in to help and assist and so on. She's sort of the face of that.
But I mean, for the purpose of moves that I have that talk about other houses.
I like that. Yeah. Well, let's see. What are you thinking here?
So I have my carry a big stick move.
Okay.
For the house, which is when you negotiate with another house, you may spend one trust to bring in leverage from your patron. If you do, they pick one. Either they commit their house to the action you describe, trigger flush with resources your patron rewards them, or they refuse and must fall into crisis. And basically, I'd like to hide one of the weapons as we're going in there. Have a sort of tense moment where she just notices me doing, and we agree to either pretend that the barbarian must have gone to his grave with one of them, or she pushes it and retrieves both of them.
Let me have Tyler say what he was doing, and then we'll run to that scene. I cut you off there a little bit, Tyler.
No, because y'all needed to get done. Because I'm wanting to kind of hit in a quiet moment of, as this is happening, the scribe is there, Meduska, who is the bride of the now deposed barbarian who came from the teachers, if we remember correctly. Is this not that is the keep we're in, right? Yes.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. And as she looks at this, she'll look to you, Tormund. My friend, my grandfather, which you probably have a sufficient grasp of the language to know grandfather is Dadushka, asked that I help however I can. and she, as the bride here, is sort of showing you an ally who could be that native person. But along with that is in this moment saying you have aid with what you're doing here if you need to call on it.
Gotcha.
So let's come to this move. It's not a rolled move, is it? Or is it a rolled move, the carry a big stick?
No, it's just I spend a trust, and then they pick to either go with what I'm describing, and they get to be flush with resources, or refuse and fall into crisis.
All right. She will see that, and she will pause, and she will say, Master Ingridson, I'm sure that you have overlooked this second item, that it is present here.
Ah, how foolish of me. A piece of tapestry seems to have fallen over it.
And you will see her look at you with that look that says, this could have gone so much better. And
I will give her a similar look.
And I think, as you say, she will fall into turmoil, so I'll put another doom on the project.
Ah!
You have 3 months. To choose your successor.
Ah, of course.
I appreciate your hospitality, but I must go now.
The road calls, I understand.
And she will head out. Now, you still have advantage on a family move. Since we did a big scene there, let's come back to that. Does that seem fair? And let's come back to Ekaterina, either in the immediate aftermath of that, or for a horse lord move, or something. The doom track grows ever closer for the project. We need 3 surpluses put into play to close it. What are you up to?
I think he froze.
Yes, he did. Always happens.
I mean, right as you called him.
Right as they call him. There's got to be some cause and effect thing, like that because the camera goes to them, that's why it locks. But we will give Josh a moment here. I'll drink some more of this delicious tea brewed from your tears.
Why will none of the Arbiter's lieutenants be reasonably bribed?
I feel sort of bad because I'm putting my fingers in all sorts of pies. And
I think that's what you're supposed to do.
Oh, I hear him.
Yes,
Oh, yeah?
We can hear
No.
you. Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Yes.
Oh,
I
we
think
can see
now we
you.
can
There we
go.
go.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was a weird little pause.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what happened there. Okay. Well, I totally cut out there.
Okay. So we finished out that scene, and the thing would come back to you, and we want to know if we want to do a house move, or we want to see a Katerina in the immediate aftermath. Does Katerina want to capitalize on what's happened there, or so on? As I mentioned, the project's at 4 doom and 2 progress. It needs 3 progress.
Yeah.
Soon to get that to finish.
Yeah. So I think that Ekaterina needs to talk to Dedushka and see what comes next out of this big power grab that they have just accomplished.
we'll take it maybe a day or two later after things have kind of gotten settled out. People have been purged, sent away, things have been changed around. You finally have a chance to talk to Ekaterina by yourself, Dadushka.
I wouldn't mind having that hold together roll happen.
Yes, thank you. I've forgotten about that.
Because I'm going to ask for aid.
Okay.
From you, Katerina. And I'll come to you. You have helped me so much here. I have something I want to teach you. You have become so close to the land. I think I can teach you how to let the land flow through you. But I need your help here. You're a hero. Please. You're muted, my love.
Ekaterina, she listens and she takes it in, and she says, many things in my life, you led me to them. I relied on your advice, and I took it, and it has brought me where I am today. And I will follow that path, wherever it takes me. I'm with you, Dedushka. I'm with you.
And I am with you. So, I'm asking for aid. I think that means you have to give up your influence on me, but I'll give it back if we do well.
Well, also you'll roll a separate die to represent their influence, and if it's the highest one, they retain it, which is an interesting mechanic.
It is neat. So I'll roll my 2. I've got a 6 and a 2.
Okay. And then
I will roll 1, and that is a 6.
Oh, yeah.
So it is the highest, so you will retain your influence over the teachers. And it is boxcars. On a 10 plus, you are brought closer together by the trial, gain surplus morale in addition to the above results. So people are with you, Dadushka. They say Dadushka is the one who brought us to these lands. Dadushka is the one who brought us the waters. It is only Dadushka that can truly lead us. You must come and stay here in the city and lead us, and they are pleased.
And I still have to pick one from the above, and another house or faction came through to help me out, so I'll give them influence back over me.
Okay.
Oh, but you already got it back, so I should choose something different.
Yes.
Let's see. In addition to the above results. So yeah, I still have to do it.
How about, just so I can have them as a potential move, that Cormid and his people, flee out under cover of darkness.
I like that.
And they are out there, as a threat in the future.
I wholly agree with it. And I don't want to, because this is you, Josh, your set of moves. I'm happy to teach you that bosom if you want to learn it. And Lowell, I am doing the change to my role. I've become a leader. And my action that I'm wanting to do is to try and make that bosom of the land a house tradition. And then you would have to tell me what my sacrifice is, but you can have moments on that because this is Josh's time.
Yeah. So, Josh, what is Ekaterina up to? What is the next step here?
I think the next step is, I think it truly is sort of becoming an acolyte of Didushka, you know? And
Are you changing your role?
I think I am,
Okay.
yes.
So what are
I
you
think I'm
changing that
changing-
to?
Well, I think I'm changing my role at this point to, let's look at my playbook, to rogue, which is mark when you pursue a personal vendetta, say where you might find allies against them. The GM says your target's greatest strength. So that sort of implies that I have a specific target, that I'm trying to attack.
Mhm.
Uh,
You can make it more general if you need to.
yeah. I mean, I think truly it is more of Yekaterina is veering off of the path that the Horse Lords have set to follow Didushka and to follow his teachings and his principles,
I think your target's greatest strength is that they are hidden, that the Fae are hidden. Where might you find allies against them?
Where might I find allies against them? I think I might find allies against them in Sneadosh. I think
there are probably people there who live in fear of the Fae.
Yeah, they are capricious and cruel.
Yeah.
I think the locals of Sneadosh would probably be willing to have what they think of as the Fae driven out for good.
The nobles have made their deals and old compacts and things with the Fae to keep themselves in power. They have the luxury and the wealth to be able to keep those up, but the populace is not.
Yeah.
There's a possibility there. Yeah. When you change your role, don't forget you get either a +1 to a stat or you get a new move.
Ooh.
How does becoming an acolyte of Didushka change your bearing or appearance?
Well, I think that the clothing that Yekaterina wears, I think she wears much less of like a ranger's practical.
Oh no.
Like the oh dear. Okay.
That's okay. Like a ranger's practical.
Yeah, so she sort of stops wearing that every day, and starts wearing more like robes and penitent clothing, I guess.
That makes sense. Yeah, I like that. Let's come to Didushka, since we've got that change. Well, actually, we just did that change. What do we do? Is there a family move or a character move you want to do?
Would you like to learn the ritual, Josh? It's a pretty fucking awesome ritual.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Okay. Then roll with lore.
All right.
You ask, I can lend aid to this.
I would love aid.
I would like to do that.
Okay. So let's have you roll first.
Okay. That is 3 and a 4, which is, with my lore, a 6.
6. So go ahead and roll for giving aid there, Tyler.
I got a 3.
You get to roll with advantage because you have a relevant backstory.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, and I only rolled 1 die. That was foolish of me. All right. And then the other one. Oops. Okay. Damn. Oh, I got a 6.
Oh. So that is
plus what?
4 and a 6, which is 10, but it is a 9.
Well, this is a little bit different than the other move. You actually roll your roll for aid, and then we see whether it bumps up the results, Tyler.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, it's different on the character
right.
level. So why don't you go ahead and roll with lore,
Okay.
and we'll
With
see.
advantage.
With advantage.
Okay.
And if you succeed, it's going to go up one category.
That was literally the same roll. That can't possibly be true for 3 dice. There we go. That still ended up with a... Okay. I got a 7.
That's good. So if there were terrible consequences of this, you would be sharing in them. However, this is just you teaching them. So it goes to a 7 and 9. Tyler, you need to pick 2 conditions for this ritual.
They cannot teach the ritual to others.
Makes sense.
Yeah. They must conduct you must conduct yourself according to a particular virtue. In this case, it is protecting the land.
And what are the conditions that you use the ritual under? Are there any that you have for that?
You were the one who was dictating what my virtue or what my conditions were, because I learned it off of my...
Right. And I think it was that you had to, I think the one that was on it was they had to be part of a particular order.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that then holds true then for this when you teach it on, because that conditions carry over. What does that look like? I mean, is it done indoors? Is it done outdoors? What is the teaching of this? So give me just a quick elevator shot of what we see there.
I take Yekaterina with me out into the forest, and there is that time we're sort of communing. We see the river in the distance. We have the very flat plains. This is not the steppes up here where I am. This is, we are in the flat. But as you and I are reaching out to the land, you can see the steppes, you can see the forest, you can feel all of it as what is the land, and you are a part of it. It is not just your home. It is all of it. All of it recognizes you and asks for you to recognize it.
So let's fall after that thing. Let's come back to Dedushka after that teaching process. What is the next thing for Dedushka or for Dedushka's family, for the teachers?
Well, I'll ask you real quick. With me having moved over to the leader, what is the sacrifice we're going to have to give up for that to become a family tradition? The bosom.
Let me think here.
We'll have to do it over and over again.
And your house, the ancient mysteries, what bargain or trying to structure the land, it will happen as long as you keep on sacrifices. It's a really good question. Let me think here. I think that it is going to be a certain amount of that kind of harvest and fertility rituals. I mean, you've taken over this new land, and you need to show that you're stewards of this area. And I think that that's going to take, like, for you, the Fae are more of a threat. So these things are kind of temporal, but you realize that you have to continue to do those rituals You have to continue to do those things of fertility because the land itself needs that restoration. So I think that seems like a logical fallout for that. Does that
So
seem okay?
year by year, we have these rituals we have to enact. It's a big thing that occurs within our settlements.
And not midsummery like rituals, but not Wicker Man, but standard good fertility rituals.
So not blood rituals, thankfully.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Then I think as we've reached this kind of really intense moment between Ekaterina and I personally will tell you, we have to face this enemy where it is. The Arbiter, though, I think, is not the future of our land, has something that we can use. Ekaterina, lead your people. Fight his war, defeat the Fae and Scarers. I will go to the pit of fire and find the one that is bound there. From that point, we will save our kingdom. We will find the other. Are you willing, my friend?
I am willing, Didushka.
Then give to the Arbiter what will help him. I believe that the Novigradi are helping our Arbiter, and though they may not be aware of how it will turn out, we can use their efforts. Let us defeat what lies to the south. And I think my action's going to be I'm personally heading over to the. I think what the gods were telling me is in our map that Lynn Fair is where that other one is.
And that is something that we had already established. That was information that was given to you about its location there.
Correct. So I'm heading there to see what I can find out and see if I can combat that thing.
Let's have you roll grasp.
All right. Our grasp is very small. That is a 4.
That is a 4. When you involve yourself in the actions of house you have influence over, lose influence and pass them dice as per advantage. Did you take someone with you? Or is this alone in your house here? That's a house move. I'm looking at that. So it's actually call for aid. No, we're doing a house move. We're on a house move. I'm sorry. So it's claim by force. So here's a question. Did you bring another house in to assist you on this, or would you have done this on your own to maintain control over what would come of this?
I may have sent word. I mean, considering where I'm going, I may have sent word to Tormund to say, you had a difficulty with the lady who was so very interested in this area. Wouldn't you be interested in finding out more? I plan to go there and see what is going on and perhaps set things to right.
So just after you've had the encounter with the demigod of death, Didushka comes and says, would you like to come down into this ritual hellhole with me? Am I reading that right? Tormund?
Well, I mean, you is such a loose term here. And luckily I have some well-armed new recruits who could use some practice before they go down to the southern lands.
Seems fair.
So, unfortunately I don't have influence over the teachers, but in a sort of weird cyclical loop, when another house accepts my offer of aid and resources, which I don't currently have to give to them, I get influence on them, and then I can spend the influence
Oh,
to
come
help them.
on. Okay, there we go. You froze up for a second. Sorry.
Yeah.
Then you can spend the influence.
To spend the influence to actually help them by giving the aid.
Let's. I love it. I love this. This is. I'm proud to be part of this plan.
So I so very briefly have influence over the teachers. And
So, because you're doing that, you don't have to roll. What it is now you lend aid. So you're going to do the claim by force, Dudushka. You're going to roll a third die. That should be a different color to represent
All right.
Tormund's assistance.
I'm going to steal this 4 of Tormund's.
yeah.
And re-roll it, and it's still a 4. But it now gets to add to mine, right?
So you take the 2 highest.
So that gives me 2 4s, which allows me a 7.
Allows you a 7. Ooh, so your force is -1, huh?
Well,
Your
it's my
grasp is -1.
grasp,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Choose 2.
Was my die the highest since they
It was
tied?
one of the highest.
Yes, you keep your influence, Tormund.
Yay!
So we choose 2. It causes chaos and suffering. Let's raise that turmoil.
Absolutely.
And because
You
I'm
natives
back...
are so reckless.
Jesse's gonna come back and be like, "What did you do?"
And I'll take. There's a cost to my victory. Your house gets in need of the GM's choice.
Interesting.
Because I've already done the holding back, so I might as well take the hard one.
You went down there to get what precisely?
Well, I was going there to find this demon lord, or this Fey lord that I think is chained in it. So I'm gaining.
I think that this Fey Lord will be willing to bargain with you. And we'll say, free me, and I will go. I will leave this place. I will take my strength away from my brothers. I will not go to any place that anyone here knows. I will not go to your enemy empire. I will not go to Novgorod. I will not stay here. I will go far away, and I will not return for 7 lifetimes of yours.
You make this promise to me.
I make this promise, and in return, I will tell you how to erect the defenses and barriers you so richly need.
You will go to a place I have never heard of, and you will not return for 7 lifetimes.
Yes.
I accept your oath, and you are free.
Take these teeth and hand you a bag. Plant them around the places that you need guarded, and they will grow into woods that will provide you the defenses that you require.
Be gone from this place.
That is what I wish. It is very, very hot down here. And so you raise turmoil, and your need, I think, is this.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this is a wondrous supernatural thing that this Fae gifts you to provide your defenses. but at the same time, it is recognizable as not being quite right. So I think this will create a need for morale and will essentially even out on the morale.
So I get rid of my morale.
Yes, essentially, you don't go into negatives, but it
Okay.
does eat away the goodwill that you've set up. Does that seem fair?
That's excellent. That makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah. And of course, Tormod hears all about this.
And there was something you were looking for there, wasn't there, Tormund?
With what?
In the Le Fair. What was it? There was a resource there that you were interested in, right?
No, I don't think so. I think that was just one of the things that came from my history picks.
Right.
Oh, it was the Colossi that was what you were looking at. Oh, okay.
Yes.
That situation had not gone quite as well as he wished. But
All right. Okay. So so you're aware of what I did there.
so let's come back to Tormod in the midst of all of this craziness.
I don't even understand these people. We have
Too many
a
gods.
clear directive to get this project done, and all of these people are just neglecting it. But don't worry, I can kiss up. I need to move resources down to the project.
Is turmoil above control?
Like I said, these children have just been running around, knocking things over, setting things on fire. And so, yes, unfortunately, and due to no fault of my own, turmoil is currently above control.
So that causes an issue here. So when turmoil is above control, it means logistics is more difficult.
Fress 'em.
And that is under gear.
I'm
Here?
currently at logistics is on house moves.
House moves, thank you. So what is your mood?
Currently is actually better than that, I think, at the moment.
It's positive, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a 1.
So you only have to pick one, because when turmoil is above control, you always have to pick one.
I think it makes sense. We're really going fast and beyond our limits right now. Push yourselves to make it happen. Gain a need of the GM's choice.
Absolutely. So I think that I think you're going to gain a need transport. If you already have a surplus of it, you'll burn through that.
That makes sense. But I have 2 surpluses to add to the project.
2 surpluses you're adding. Which 2?
Weapons and recruits.
Weapons and recruits. Oh my gosh, Progress and Doom are tied right now. And when you deliver to this project, there are some things that happen.
One of them is that since my country wants me to back this project up, I gain 2 trust back, which is nice because I'd burned myself down to 0.
Yes.
That's trust with my patron rather than favor with the Arbiter.
Right. Yeah. And is there anything else that you get when you deliver?
I think it's on the favor and ages. Pay your dues.
Yeah.
Increase the project track by 1 and gain 1 favor for each time.
Okay.
Which I don't think there's anything. Is there anything for overflowing favor? Or
Nope.
Stops it.
So you're in good shape.
Well, except for my current mood of -2.
Your people, your people you've hired and so on have been taxed to their limits, getting these things in place for the Arbiter. Does that seem right?
Mm-hmm. But that does give me some favor with the Arbiter and a good bargaining position I would like to try and, get some consideration out of the Arbiter for all that I just went through.
So is that you hitting up the Arbiter for a favor?
Yes, using favor.
Okay. So What is it that you want?
Let's see. I would like a loaned surplus. Let's roll with thingamajigger. Favors up at a +2 now, which gets it to a 7. He did it.
What is the surplus that you want?
Do we have a list of those somewhere, don't we?
Yes, it's under resources and battle.
That's it. Prestige. I mean, it's obvious. His loyal houses here that are natives that are supposed to be the core of his country are running around chasing their own goals and leaving this project to wither on the vine. But I am here supplying everything that he needs.
I think that the Arbiter is well disposed to doing that, but he needs a promise from you.
Everybody always needs something from me.
I have it to understand that the king of Novgorod has 3 daughters. And I've heard that they are all of passing beauty. That is less important to me. It would do much to cement the country and myself if a marriage could be arranged with one of those daughters. It'd tie our countries together more tightly as well. Will you act as my agent in this?
Of course.
I don't ask for any promises from you. You've done much for me. But in assisting you in spreading the good word of your works, was a consideration that I would like from you.
Of course, I'm sure you're familiar with much of the world, and you realize that there is a rather significant bride gift that usually comes with a proposal to one such as the king's daughters.
Absolutely, absolutely. We will see to that when that time comes, if we move forward on this. And we'll deal with this with discretion, and I will sing your praises.
I shall write to the king as soon as I can. He'll be overjoyed, I'm sure.
I have my doubts on that, but I appreciate your honeyed words. Let's come back to the horse lords. Speaking of horses, Doom and Progress are neck and neck.
Yeah. Okay. The horse lords are going to do their best to deliver something to Sneadosh and get us over the line.
Do you want to gift your scouts to this to solve the problem?
I think yes. I think in the fiction, after Igor's monumental failure in Sneadosh,
Yes. Debacle.
Yeah, it's not good. Igor is stripped of his post, and someone else from the unit is elevated, or they bring in a new leader from outside of the unit because they can't trust any of them. And then as a punishment, all of these horse lords get assigned to the worst duty for horsemen of the steppe, which is to have to serve with people not from the steppe. So they get given to the Arbiter's troops and are to work their wonders.
let me ask you this then, because the turmoil is up. You still have to move those things. What is the choice you want to make off logistics to get those scouts into place?
Okay. We have to push ourselves to make it happen. We gain a need of your choice.
Let's see. Let's see. I think you're going to gain the need justice. I think there are people with ties to Igor's families and things like that that are upset at this, that, you know, they don't know the full story, but certainly the things travel back to their lands and people are like, oh, you know, we were mistreated. There's a lot of grumbling that's going on amongst the people. Does that seem fair?
That seems totally fair.
You will deliver this and we will hit 5 on the progress marker. And we will have that project finished.
Ta-da.
That is amazing. And so tell me, when his process, what I think we will see is as people found out, so that we see those tradesmen that Jesse's people had put into place to kind of undermine the local trade going in. That hurts the nobles. It makes it harder for them to keep up their pacts with the Fae. And then we see the push on the ground for the locals, you know, who, you know, want assurances and protection from the Fae. And I think that the nobles are caught in between those forces, and that eventually we see the princes of Sneadosh travel to Barat Vasti Fastness and pledge their fealty to the Arbiter, you know, to try and gain some measure of face, to try and gain some measure of power in this new order. And the Arbiter will accept graciously their return to the bosom of the motherland, and says, you will have to accept our ways and our envoys and so on, the teachers and the horsemen and so on. You will have to give them place. All right. So when a project hits 5 progress, the annexation is complete. Each player is going to choose one. I'm going to read you the options. Oh boy. Ooh, boy, I'm glad I didn't hit 5 doom. I'm looking down at the ones that are in black there. Anyway, you can claim a vast new section of the land, gain surplus land and raise grass by 1. You claim a valuable resource site, mark it on the map as a new settlement, and gain surplus rare materials. You control travel to the new region, erase surplus transport to get influence on each house that colonizes the new region. You push for the rights of the new land's inhabitants, get surplus justice and influence on the inhabitants, but lose 1 favor. And also, Josh, don't forget to raise your favor by 1 because of the thing. You learn something new there, get a move from a playbook that isn't in play, and add a new ritual to your traditions. Or your explorers travel far and wide, gain 1 reach and surplus scouts. Dadushka, what do you want out of this?
Oh, heavens, they all seem better each time you said them.
Are those listed somewhere?
Yes, it is on page 163 of the book.
Okay.
Okay, could you repeat there was a ritual and something?
Okay, so you learn something new there. Get a move from a playbook that isn't in play, and I think that means house playbook, and add a new ritual to your traditions.
I think I gotta take that.
Oh, I know that is pretty delicious.
Yeah.
So you have to figure out what that ritual is. We'll add that to your traditions, and
we'll work on that.
You can look on the playbooks there. Tormund, what are you thinking?
Stupid mute button. I want a ritual. Everyone keeps talking about rituals, and I tried to learn a ritual, and then it went bad. Oh, but should I learn a ritual? No, I want to do it.
Okay, so you get a move from a playbook that isn't in play, and you get to add a ritual to your traditions.
Cool.
And Joshton, what for you?
I think that the Horse Lords are going to advocate for the people, maintain justice.
Okay.
So I reduce one favor, but I do get justice, which removes that need.
And you get influence, Sneadosh.
I see.
Do you all have positive favor?
Yes, still, yeah.
Okay. And let's see. What about Jesse's? Where's he at? Is it -1? So here's the thing. As well, when a project is completed, pick one for each house with a positive favor. I think I will gain a point of control. I think I will gain a new move, Patron of the Blade. Beginning of each season, the GM picks which house holds the best warrior in the land. That house rolls holding court with advantage.
Nice.
That's a nice one. And then everybody gets surplus peace.
Oh, how nice.
Because you've put a dent in the affairs of the Fae who have been undercutting things. They're still out there. They're still a threat, but you have put a big iron spike in them.
Which brings me to locals. I know we're getting here towards the end. But with us doing this invasion into, taking
annexation
down.
Annexation.
Yes, of course. Yes. Very peaceful and pleasant.
Yes.
I would love for Ekaterina and Dadushka, and maybe if Tormund is interested in seeing it, us trying to find and encounter that Fey Lord that's here. Do we have time?
I think that's for a future day. I think that is a threat that you have put down that we will see. They have been reduced. You have cut out a great deal of the temporal power, but I think they still remain. If only because we also have Jesse's connection to those things. So I want
absolutely, yeah.
So what we're going to do at the start of next time is we're going to do the turning of the ages. And that's going to require us to look at how people have stewarded their land. We're going to add some things. We're going to add some things to the cast and so on. You will have the choice about whether you wish to keep on with your character or if they move into a different position or whatnot. But we'll hold off on that until next time so we have Jesse in here amongst the process. Does that seem cool? Then I think we're going to stop here. Lots of good stuff today. I was waiting for another fail so I could pump the doom. I was hungry for it in that last hour. I was like, I'm going to be able to destroy this project.
It was tight.
It was
Oh,
so close.
I'm
The
just
problem is, of
sitting here with
course,
resources. Like, I just need to get them down
Yeah.
there.
the problem is, of course, now turmoil is still above control. So that's a problem going forward.
It's a problem if you like the Arbiter.
No, it's a problem if you need to move resources.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it causes issues because what it'll do is it'll start doom on whatever project the next project is. It'll
Mhm.
start with one doom.
Mm-hmm.
So there's lots of good stuff here. So I'm going to stop recording here on this note.